everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Red Couch Talk. Today with us, we have Police Chief Marc Taylor with the West Covina Police Department joining us. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the invitation. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and start with our first question here. How long have you been in law enforcement?
Okay, well, so I've been around a long time. I started in 1981 as a police reserve with the West Covina Police Department. I did that for 2 years and then went full-time in 1983. I actually retired in 2012. I went out to the University of Redlands, where I was the Assistant Chief of Public Safety for 5 years. And then in 2017, I had the opportunity to come back to West Covina as the police chief. So it's been a great career. I've had a lot of different assignments, worked a little bit of everything in the department, and it's truly an honor to be back.
Oh, awesome.
Glad to have you back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. What changes have you seen since you've been back versus when you were just starting off?
Well, the whole city's changed. When I started, the population was in the mid 80,000. Now we're close to 115,000. We have more businesses, more calls for service. Probably the biggest noticeable change is technology. And the crimes have kind of changed too. Because of technology, maybe a little bit, but with identity theft, those type of things, it's more prevalent now than it was back in the 80s or 90s, just because people have different means to be able to carry that out. And some of it with social media, some of it with internet, it makes it a little bit easier to, handle those crimes and commit those crimes. So, it's definitely changing. Technology has allowed us to be able to do bigger and better things with fingerprint analysis, with DNA analysis. People that were never apprehended in the past now have a higher probability of being arrested for their crimes.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Good. So technology is good and
Yeah,
bad.
it can go either way for sure.
Right.
If you're on the good side, it's very valuable, and sometimes people use it for their own benefit.
Yeah,
for sure.
I've been a victim of that.
That's true.
I know.
Well,
So,
let me ask you, we have had homelessness issues everywhere, not just in our city, but just everywhere. I just want to know how the city is dealing with the homelessness and what are you guys doing to stop this?
Yeah, well, for one, I just have to say it's a very complex issue. And, when I give my talks in the community, I talk about how homelessness isn't necessarily a police issue. It's a societal issue, but it's been thrust upon the police department to try to resolve. The city of West Covina really is doing a lot. I have 2 officers specifically assigned to what we call the HOPE team, which is the homeless outreach and park enforcement. They work, 4 days a week. That's their sole assignment, is to go out, contact the homeless people, and try to get them resources, try to get them placed. And so it's not just the enforcement action on our part. It's reaching out and trying to do good community service. Unfortunately, many of those people decline services for various reasons, and there's a lot of different reasons that people are homeless. And I think we have to always take in compassion and empathy, and try to treat them like we would want to be treated, like our family members would want to be treated. But then, on the other side, when they're committing crimes, it's important that we do take action, and we can't tolerate that in the city. We want to send a message that it won't be tolerated. So it's that kind of dual role. We also have a mental evaluation team that comes in and rides with our officers, because many of our homeless community have some level of mental illness attached. We have, we work very closely with the County of LA, with LASA, Union Station, with resources. They bring people in. So it's really a joint effort, and, but there's just no easy solution for it. It's going to take a lot of work on everybody's part, and patience, for sure.
they keep coming, yeah.
They do.
We've seen a little increase in when we first got here to now. We've seen a little bit of an increase of the activities and everything that's going around.
Yeah. And there's certain areas of the city that are a little more prone to it because of the level of services that are in this area. So, you know, we have medical services just down the street.
Yeah.
We have Social Security Administration. We have the Goodwill. We have, you know, different places that, you know, they like to frequent, you know, to help them get services and, you know, they feel comfortable with. So different areas of the city has a little bit higher concentrations.
That's really
Yeah,
nice to
that's
hear
where I
that.
see them a
Yeah,
lot.
stay
Yeah.
close by to those
Sure.
services that way.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
And, you know, what we really try to do too is also partner with the businesses to make sure that they understand what they can do. We have a business kit, toolkit that the city offers. It's on our website. Different things to do to help reduce it. Some of the homeless, you know, will frequent businesses because there's Wi-Fi. And so they have their phones and they want to use
They
Wi-Fi
want to use the
service.
service.
A
Okay.
lot of
Makes
business,
sense.
you know, a lot of them will also use the electrical outlets that are outside the business to charge their phones, those type of
Yeah.
things. So we recommend, you know, maybe capping those, locking those, maybe turning off the Wi-Fi at night if that's possible. And, you know, the other thing we advocate is if there's a problem, please call us. If we don't know about it, we really can't.
Yeah, you can't do anything about it.
We don't get here to try to solve it. So we want to really work close with the residents and the business partners that we have. And we will come for any call. So, you know, that's my
That's good to
encouragement,
know.
is call us.
Yeah.
That's great. And you know what, that was gonna be my second question. What can we as business owners and as part of this community do to help? You know, we wanna keep our city safe and clean, so what else can we do to help you guys?
Well, you know, a lot of times, you know, people have a false perception of what the police department can do. So when they see a homeless person on a bus bench, they, you know, call us, say, we have this person there. So we get out there. They're not committing any crimes. They're not doing anything. And, you know, unfortunately, we can't move them. You know, we don't have that authority. They're in a public place. They're not causing a problem. The same in some of the business areas. Because it's private property, we really don't have the authority to tell somebody you have to move. So we need that business partner to say, hey, we don't want them there, they're trespassing, and kind of go that route. But the laws are changing, and you know, we used to not allow people to be in the parks at night. There's a new court decision that came out that said we can't kick people out of the parks per se if they're homeless, if there's no bed space available in the community. They looked at it as cruel and unusual punishment under the 8th Amendment. So all laws are changing. Prop 47, Prop 57, AB 109. Some of those things that have decriminalized or reduced the crimes from felonies to misdemeanors has forced a lot of the people out of the county jails into the streets, and we're seeing, you know, problems as well. So, you know, it comes from everywhere. But, you know, the most important thing to everyone is if you have a problem, call us. If we know about it, that helps us out. And, so.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, so that leads me to also, you know, following on that. Now, if the homelessness is up and rising now, do the owners of the buildings or the businesses, do they have some kind of responsibility to, you know, maybe block off? Like here, we lease this space, but do the owners here have to maybe supply lights for the back or some kind of, you know, protection for us? So, I mean, so my question is, will the owners of the properties be cited or be responsible for, you know, let's say there's 20 homeless people in the back or something like that?
Well, we have a code enforcement unit that are two civilian personnel in our police department, and they work very close with business owners throughout the city for a lot of different reasons. You know, one of them could be homeless problem, you know, lighting, locking the trash dumpsters so that they don't have access to some of the things that they're looking for. They have a lot of ideas that the business owners can use, and it's the property owners, and sometimes the property owners aren't local, and they really don't understand what the problem is. It's more the businesses that are renting the property that see it every day.
Right.
So, we can assist in contacting those business owners and putting them on notice, letting them know, hey, there's a problem. And I think, we have a pretty good compliance rate because the owners want to keep their property nice, for sure. Sure.
Yeah. Now, what is the police department in the city? I mean, are you guys working together with, as far as the community, bringing in more events to the community, things of that nature? What's the police department's part with the city to help out with the community?
Well, we take our partnership with not only the residents, but the business community and the school districts very seriously. So, one of the areas, I always talk about is our partnership with the school districts, and we just have a great relationship with them. We have 3 school resource officers that are assigned to the high schools in West Covina. So we have one at South Hills, one at West Covina High, and one at Edgewood. So we're in constant communication with both Roland School District, Covina Valley School District, and West Covina superintendents. We work closely together. We want to keep our children safe. We do different events at the schools. We do Red Ribbon Week, in October. So we'll go out, we'll do presentations. I just, a couple weeks ago, for reading day at the schools, I went to Orangewood Elementary and got an opportunity to read to the kids. And I've done that for many, many years because not only do I work here and have worked here for a long time, I'm also a resident of West Covina, long-time resident. My kids went to school here. So it was, really a thrill to go over in uniform and read to your children's class,
And all the young ones always get
yeah.
excited.
Oh yeah, they always have great questions and everything.
Yeah,
So, we'll go to Little League openers. We have our officers, at night checking the park so that when the Little League is playing, whether it's football, baseball, that they have a safe environment to play in. And again, with the businesses, we always like to attend, the grand openings of all the new businesses coming in. We work with the Greater West Covina Business Association. They put on our public safety luncheon every year, which is coming up on the 25th of this month. And it's just a great partnership. We want to be as active and involved as people want us. So to get invited to different events, to be here today is really an honor, and to get our message out that we're here to work with the community.
That's great.
And we want to be that good partner, and we want people to call us, trust us, and so.
I think that's what our community needs to know, that you guys are here to work with us as well, not just to be out there passing out tickets, pulling over people,
Well, and a lot of people don't realize we're a very busy city, and so last year, for the calendar year, we responded to almost 80,000 incidents. 80,000.
in West Covina?
Right, in West Covina.
What are you guys doing?
Yeah, so when...
Almost one each.
Yeah. So, most people are very surprised to hear that because, they think,
That's a lot.
yeah, it is a lot.
It is,
So
wow.
when you average it out, it's about 220 incidents a day. And when you have, a limited amount of police officers out there, that helps people understand a little bit why it takes us a little bit longer to get to some calls. We're still pretty good at getting to life-threatening calls in a very timely manner. Some of the other calls, report calls, just because the volume of calls has risen over the years, it takes us maybe a little bit longer. But when you put it in that perspective, they go, oh my gosh, 80,000, 220 a day, that's a lot.
Yeah,
So
it
we are a
is.
very busy department with limited resources. But I just have to say, our strength is the talents of the men and women on the police department. We have a great group. They're dedicated, they're hardworking, they care about the community, and they really, really do a great job for everybody here.
Yeah, which kind of leads me to my next question is, so crime. So you would say crime in West Covina is higher or lower than the last maybe couple of years, and then also like the big hot topic with everybody is like police brutality. How do you guys handle that? Have you guys seen a lot of that in West Covina, and, you know, what kind of community reform do you guys have for that type of thing?
Sure.
Wow, that's a good
Well,
question.
you know, I think crime overall, you know, it's kind of cyclical. It'll go up, it'll go down. Pretty much it's remained flat. We've had some areas that have gone up a little bit. But it's not so much the crime that's going up, it's the calls for service. And, you know, going back to the homelessness, you know, those calls have risen, you know, so maybe it's not a crime, but it's still a call for service, which takes time. And so when we're dealing with, especially the mental illness component, there's many times that our officers will be tied up for an hour to an hour and a half trying to get them social services placed and everything. So that's taking one or two officers out of the mix, you know, out of being able to respond. And so the police brutality, you know, obviously it's a topic. You know, I always tell our officers, you know, and anybody that I give a lecture to that, you know, we're not here to punish. You know, we're here to enforce the laws. What we're looking for every time we encounter somebody is for them to comply. You know, we ask them to stop. You know, our actions are pretty much dictated by their actions. You know, so if somebody runs, we chase. You know, but we don't want to have to do that. We want people to just comply. Anytime any of our officers use force on the department, there's a complete review that goes on from the sergeant level, the management level, senior staff, and then it ultimately goes to my desk for approval. So we have policies, and we, you know, make sure that we conform to those policies. We spend a lot of money on training to try to ensure that we have the highest trained officers out there. And you know, again, you know, dealing with mental health issues, you know, we're not psychologists, we're police
Sure.
officers. So you have to have, you know, a lot of different hats on and a different call, and you know,
Yes.
things change so quickly.
Right.
And
Yeah, that's true.
you know, we have cameras in the cars, so you know, we can review incidents and get a better look, and you know, have that video evidence. But things really do change in a split second. And somebody that's very
Yeah.
compliant and very nice, all of a sudden, in the next blink of an eye,
could be.
things are going bad.
Right.
So we take it very seriously. Again, our job is never to punish. You know, we're just here to enforce the laws. And yeah, so we want to keep our great reputation.
Thank you for responding.
Oh, of course, of course.
Great information.
I was a little
Thank you
scared
so
on that
much.
question.
Yeah, and we noticed that, I mean, we know that there's been cutbacks. So what, and I'm also seeing a lot more community service officers out there that are in the senior division. What is the difference between them and a police officer as far as what they can do?
Sure. So actually we have a lot of different positions in the department besides just the sworn officers. We have civilian community service officers.
Okay.
We call them CSOs. Basically they handle the hazardous types of duties. So if you were to have your car stolen, you know, and we don't know who the suspect is, we can send a community service officer out to take that report. And that keeps our officers free to deal with the emergent calls. But yeah, besides that, we have a cadet program, and you know, our cadets are people that are 18 going up to 25. And you know, we use them in different areas: parking enforcement, handling traffic accidents, crowd control, you know, traffic control, those type of things, non-hazardous duties. It gives us an opportunity to take a look at their work ethic, to look at what kind of employee they're going to be, and it gives them a career path into possibly becoming a full-time police officer at some point. And then we have our community volunteers that we rely heavily on. We have an outstanding volunteer program. You know, the men and women in there are so dedicated. A lot of them are residents in the city. They come in, they volunteer, they handle taking, you know, paperwork out to Pomona Court instead of a detective doing it, freeing up time for everybody to, the resources and everything, because we have had cutbacks. And, you know, at one time we had 127 officers on the department, and today we have 99 positions.
Oh, wow.
So we, you know, we've definitely, you know, reduced. You know, we still have great men and women doing the job. But it really comes down to budgetary issues and what we can afford as far as policing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I hope you guys get a better budget next year.
Hopefully.
Hire
Yes.
more officers.
That's always the
Yeah.
hope. that it should.
Get some more
But
officers.
you know, I have to say, you know, we have a city council that's very supportive of public safety, and public safety is expensive. We have
Yeah,
a
it
city
is.
manager that's very supportive. So they're doing everything they can, trying to bring in business, trying to bring in revenue to keep that tax base, to make sure that we have the resources to do our job. So, you know, I always thank them because that's what we need is that partnership,
Yeah.
that support from the council, from our city manager, and we have that all the time. So it's very helpful for
Safety is
us.
important, especially for the community and.
Absolutely.
everybody involved,
Right.
Yeah, we agree, we agree.
Yes.
Get a raise.
Yeah.
Get a raise, give them a raise, guys.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Chief Taylor, for joining us today. We really appreciate it. You gave a lot of valuable information to the community, and I think they're going to enjoy this episode. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you again so much. I appreciate the offer to be here, and it's important to get our information out, and we just invite the public to call anytime there's a problem. Please give us a call.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you
you
so much,
so
thank you for
much.
joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And any agents out there looking for a new office, please give us a call. We would love to talk to you. Or any buyers or sellers out there looking to buy or sell, please give us a call. Alice, what's the number?
The number is 1-800-286-1036. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for our weekly drawings.
Thank you once again for watching us here at Red Couch Talk. We look forward to having you join us next week here at Remax Champions, downtown West Covina. Woo!